Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be starting another video series. Now that I've got a lot more time on Fridays and the weekends to do work for my personal pursuits in terms of blacksmithing, I will be making more videos as I've said, but I want to make a butterfly knife. So, what I'm doing now is preparing some round stock from this broken pair of tongs. I'm just going to use the handles. And I'm going to prepare the stock to make the handles out of. There are two main styles of butterfly knife, or Balisong, which comes from Indonesia. That's where originally this style of knife comes from, and it's a fighting knife. A lot of people have made it into a hobby, doing cool tricks with them, waving them around and such. I actually have dabbled in that in the past, and I thought this just might be a cool project to undertake. So that's what I'm doing today. The reason that I'm going for the curved handle style is because it looks cool, and that is the only reason, because it's actually going to be much more difficult to do that than it would be to make the straight handled kind. But without further ado, I will get into the forging of the handle materials, which is largely going to consist of drawing down those pieces into much flatter pieces. And the construction of a butterfly knife is a little weird. I'll go grab mine here so I can show you guys in a little more detail in a second. Alright, so I have here my practice butterfly knife, they're called. They're not actually knives. They're just props, essentially. As you can see, it has no real blade. But the construction of a butterfly knife is pretty simple to understand. You've got the two handles, and they're riveted together, as you can see, and then also riveted to the blade piece up here. Or in this case, they use screws. I'll be using rivets. That's more permanent and easier to do for me. And as you might notice, you actually need 4 pieces to make the handle. Instead, what I think I'll be doing is, instead of riveting them down at the bottom here, I will be just folding a single piece over and sort of making sure that's square so that I only have to use 2 pieces and I can just rivet them at the top. To do so, the pieces that I use will have to be significantly thicker than these, but that's okay. I actually prefer thicker handles with these, so they rotate in the hand better and they just overall feel better. So that's what I'll be trying to do. But first I just need to get some material that's small enough to use. So I'm going to be reducing down some 1/2-inch round stock just over the horn and the flat face here. Some of you may notice in the audio, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I actually secured my anvil much better to its stand. I hadn't messed with its attachment to the stand at all since I put it on there, but you can't see it, but it's actually a giant hunk of hickory secured by 2 railroad spikes and wrapped with chain and magnets to reduce the ring. But what I did was I took some punches and I pushed those railroad spikes further into the piece of hickory, and it's much more solid now. It doesn't wobble around even if I use the horn. The thing that does wobble is the stand itself because it's not exactly flat on the bottom. Unfortunately, I don't really have the tools to grind away that much of a giant piece of hickory. So I'll just have to do that over time in small increments, I guess, if I want it to be super flat. You may be able to tell it's a little tilted. That might be from the camera angle, but it is a little bit tilted. In fact, that's tilting the wrong way, so it's definitely got to do with the camera angle here. Let me. There we go. Okay. Oh boy, that's crispy. Yeah, you can see the anvil itself wobbling. but that's the stand, not the anvil on the stand. And I want these handle pieces, I'm just going to call them handle scales from now on because that's what I'm used to. I want these handle pieces to be a little over twice as long as the handles are for my model I'm using, because I need enough room to get that bend at the bottom. But this is about where I want the thickness and width. Much thicker than the other one because I do want to do some texturing and some fine tuning down the line. Let's see how long that is. I think that's only about a quarter the length I need for the full two pieces. Gotta remember where I put it, and it's gray, so it matches everything else in this shop. That's gonna be annoying. Oh, here we go. So yeah, somewhere close to a quarter. I think I might be able to squeeze this entire piece. It'll at least make enough for one of the two sides, but I got another piece of equal length I can use as well, so it's not that big of a deal if I do have to end up using another piece. Let's get the rest down to that size, and I'll take my smaller hammer, do some texturing, do some final sizing. I'm a little out of practice at work. I don't use this hammer. I use a much smaller hammer because I'm doing smaller work. Need to get used to this again. Okay, I'm gonna heat this middle section up that I couldn't get to. Bend this out of the way. You can see here the effects of not having a level base. As time goes on, as I forge, the anvil moves of its own accord from wobbling. But, as you can see, I now have two pieces of equal length that are roughly the same dimension. I'm going to move on to texturing before I bend them into shape. Once I get the rough shape of the handles, I'm going to be done for the day. I actually did some work for my Etsy shop earlier today, so after the long week of work, I'm pretty tired already. It's already 4 p.m., so I'll just be going in once I finish this part here. But I'm going to throw this piece in the fire, get that piece off my leg, start texturing it. So, as you can see, this is pretty well textured now. And this texturing can only be done by a hammer and by hand, which is kind of the effect I'm going for. So I will do the other piece and show you the two pieces when I have them done. And that will be that for this video. Alright, so I've got both of these pieces textured and ready to go as far as making the handle goes. That'll have to be in part 2. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and a comment, and do subscribe. All three of those things help out the channel quite a lot, help it to grow. Also, as always, my Etsy link to my Etsy shop will be in the description. I sell things I've made. I also do custom orders, so give me a message if you want to inquire about something of that nature. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.